What's up, you damn plebeians? Neil with the Balding Plebs, joined here by my brother,
Mr. fucking YouTube, baby.
So, Mr. fucking YouTube, baby. We gotta talk about this. We've gotta talk about Death Stranding. Because there are so many people coming on here convinced that we are just totally wrong. Now, maybe, I'm gonna say maybe, I always try to have there be possibility. Maybe, just maybe, this game's gonna drop and it's gonna be unfucking believably amazing. It's gonna blow everybody's mind. Even the critics, even us, it's gonna blow our mind. That being said, I do have some thoughts.
Well, we got to watch 49 minutes of gameplay.
We did.
And we did watch all 49 minutes.
We did, and this was the gameplay that people said that we had to watch. This was the gameplay that they said would change our opinions about Death Stranding. Jdog, Mr. YouTube, how do you feel about Death Stranding after watching the gameplay?
Well, I don't feel a whole lot different. I'm still not sure that this game is all this like super amazing thing that people keep trying to make it out to be. And I'm trying to understand where I'm going wrong here, because to me it feels really boring. Okay? And kind of sparse and kind of maybe intriguing, yes, but not necessarily interesting.
Yeah, I think the intrigue for Death Stranding is definitely there, right? There's like some underlying subplots about, content X, Y, and Z, and, what's going on in the afterlife, or whatever the hell they're trying to do. So, I think there could be some really interesting concepts explored in the game, and that's fine. But let's not...
The actual moment-to-moment gameplay, though, reeks of tedium.
Let's not pretend that moment-to-moment gameplay doesn't matter. And when I read comments like, this game isn't about gameplay. Yes, it is.
All games are about gameplay.
Every video game you play is about gameplay. Period. No matter what you try to convince yourself of, no matter what Kojima tries to convince you of, no matter what your friend who's a Kojima fan tries to convince you of, every game you pay for is about gameplay. This is not a discussion. This is not an opinion. This is fact.
Yeah, and I think where I really struggle with what I've seen so far is just that the moment-to-moment stuff that keeps driving you forward, right? And keeps you going, I need to see what's around the next bend, makes you think, okay, I have to get to the next area, I have to push further. It just doesn't seem to be there in spades for me, I want it to be.
So they showed off gameplay. They showed off combat. It was the combat with the one creature that was very samey, throw grenades until it dies. That was boring. I wasn't impressed. And then there was combat with characters. When you went down to that camp, it looks like he was sneaking down in there to try and get some stuff, some supplies and stuff. Which, I will say this, I enjoy that concept. I do. So for anybody saying that I don't say anything positive, I enjoy that. Needing to scavenge for supplies and putting your life on the line and risking your valuable equipment, whether it's the quality of the shoes you're wearing or the equipment you're wearing or your backpack or anything, or losing things that you're carrying and trying to deliver. I like all of that. That's totally cool. But I see the combat and I think, well, this is dumb. Like, this is not impressive. And for everybody saying this is going to change the industry, I don't know where you're seeing that. Maybe it's just what you've been told, or maybe you're just hyped up because it's made by somebody that you really respect. Totally fine. But I haven't actually seen this to get me excited yet. Your thoughts?
So, Kojima's mostly well known for Metal Gear Solid, and I think a lot of the combat in the earlier Metal Gear Solid games, let's talk Metal Gear Solid 2, 3, maybe 4 a little bit, worked well in enclosed spaces, right?
Mm-hmm.
I especially think back maybe to Metal Gear Solid on the PlayStation, right, where you're kind of in tight quarters, you're using some of the sneaking, some of the neat concepts like Metal Gear Solid 2, you're putting guys in lockers, you're hiding in lockers, you're popping out, and you're getting them, choking them out, putting them in a locker, things like that. Just some stuff that I kind of remember from back in those games, and where the combat, when you got into a firefight in those games, I remember it not being all that great. It kind of being a struggle. Usually, if you got into a firefight, you were going to get killed. Unless you were on like super easy difficulties or something like that.
Yeah, true.
And so, I don't know if that combat just translates that well into like this open world setting that they have, where like you're running around out in a field and you got, I don't know.
You got some guys shooting taser shots and shit at you.
Yeah.
I watched when he stole the vehicle from the guy. He grabbed the guy and pulled him out of the vehicle. That's nothing new. We've been doing that for years. Grand Theft Auto, anybody?
Yeah.
So, like, for me,
it's Cause, I think.
Yeah,
do it.
It's cool. Don't get me wrong. It's cool, but it isn't game changing. It isn't wowing me. There was nothing about the demo that really had me say, "Yep, this is my next game."
Well, so the thing is, if the combat itself isn't spectacular, which I don't think the combat in Death Stranding is spectacular.
It's not.
And I don't even necessarily know if it has to be, right? But if it isn't, then there's got to be some other hook, right? Mm-hmm. I take a game let's take a game like Rage 2, right? Where really the storyline is trash. Irrelevant. I don't even remember it. But the combat was really engrossing in that game. Really fun. So, yeah, I went and completed the whole game because I enjoyed going from camp to camp and having a balls-out firefight, right? It was a good combat experience. So, okay, that game had a trash storyline with great combat. So, if I'm going to have a game that has trash combat, then I've got to have something else make up for it.
True.
Which would probably be a great storyline to keep pushing me through. And this is where, again, I just don't see it. Now, we watched 50 minutes of gameplay, and we've got a very open world. We have a very sparse world, right? Basically, hills, valleys. Yeah,
rocks,
some of it looked very nice. Don't get me wrong, there's some awesome scenic views and stuff, I thought. But there wasn't that sense of awe. At least I didn't have a great sense of awe that I need to have from an explorative game. Maybe I pick something like Subnautica, right? Like when you come into the Lost River, for instance, you just have that holy shit moment, right?
Unless you're playing on the Xbox One.
Yeah.
Assuming
your game doesn't crash, you kind of have that holy shit moment. So I need that in a game. I need a holy shit moment. And I didn't have it there.
Like when you come over the hill and Kojima was all sold on that everybody's going to be excited about this when you see the city. I was like, oh, there it is.
Yeah, and it's just not, it's just a bunch of like boxes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or, little containers and houses and whatnot. It wasn't that impressive where I had that wow moment that I need in an open world. What would you even call this? An RPG, basically.
I guess you can call it, since they want to have a genre for it, a Strand game.
So you got the one concept that I think is driving it, and that's kind of like you can sort of like assist or help or leave things in the world that can be seen or discovered by other players. And that is a cool concept.
It is.
It's a very neat concept. You kind of have like maybe harken it to the messages that you leave in Dark Souls.
I was going to make the Dark Souls comparison.
But this takes it a step further, right, where you can actually leave like a ladder crossing a chasm for somebody or something like that.
Actually, a mechanic I like.
I do too. So it's the one thing in the game that has me still interested.
Yeah.
I think.
To the point to where I'll still watch the next trailer.
Yeah. Like, how integrated is that, right? Like, how integrated is this communal mapping of the world or whatever it is?
So, my thought was, and I think I talked to you about this the other day when we were driving to work together, I said, how cool would it be if they take this, I want royalties. How cool would it be if you had an entire genre of game? We can talk about people putting their nose in the air, or Kojima can do no wrong or whatever. But how cool would it be if you had an entire genre of game that was literally its own, separate existence, right? No other games could ever touch in that genre, right? And every single one of the games in that genre was interlinked. No matter who made the game, and no matter how it was done, every one of those games could affect the previous, or could affect a future game. I know they've kind of done that with some RPGs where you can carry over a save, right?
Yep.
But how cool would that be to have an actual living, breathing world that continued from game to game to game to game in the genre? And in order to create a game for that genre, you had to build it within that certain ecosystem, that certain existential sphere.
Yeah, you have a cool thing. You have something kind of going on like that in No Man's Sky, right, where people map the planets, and other people can visit their bases and things like that. But you have such a large entity there that nobody's gonna. Rarely do people see each other's stuff unless you join their game.
Yeah, for sure.
Right. So it looks like in this you're actually going to have something that's contained, that you're going to see more of other people's doings, right?
Right.
Which could be cool. I just don't know if that's enough to keep me hooked on a delivery simulator, because that's kind of what we have here.
Yeah.
Is go from pod to pod, bringing boxes. And then you have the tedium of managing your weight and where you're putting it and taking a piss and sleeping and cuddling your baby and all this other shit. That just kind of seems a lot.
And they have the BTs in there, which is kind of like this organism from beyond, or this however the fuck they describe it. And, so I saw them interacting with it during the demo. He's shooting them with the bolus gun. And I found myself thinking, well, that's kind of weird. It was weird. It felt weird because it didn't seem like it was something you should be able to shoot. Because that kind of dispels the whole, what's the word I'm looking for? The whole, the creep factor of the BTs. You can just shoot them with a bolus gun.
Yeah.
Okay. It's not really scary anymore. Now you're just kind of lame. Now you're just annoying. Now you're just... Oh, shit. Now it's annoying. Oh, fuck. Anyway, I didn't mind that kind of Nightmare Creature-esque boss they had going on, but I feel like anytime you have a Kojima game, you need to be ready to use grenades. Because I think he's got a boner for grenades. He uses them in all of his games. And the gameplay just didn't really wow me. It sucked you in, to a different, dimension or world or existence for that fight. You were in this floating water kind of area. I don't know.
Yeah, the combat for me was not a selling point here.
The combat was stale.
It was not a selling point.
It was stale.
So, like I said earlier, what is the thing that keeps me going? For me, it's some sort of awesome explorative experience. I mean, realistically, the combat in Subnautica does not keep me playing that game, right? It's the world. It's exploring it.
Yeah, because the combat in Subnautica is kind of shit.
Yeah. So, okay, if we're not going to have great combat, are we going to have an awesome, interesting, intriguing world and storyline, which I don't necessarily see here? Or are we going to have some other factor? And that's where I'm really missing it here.
Let me ask you something, because I've been thinking about this too. So to anybody that's actually excited for Death Stranding that hasn't told us to kill ourselves in the comments and is still watching, I applaud you. But my question for you is this. If we could play Death Stranding together, same, we connected together in the world, same screen, same this, same that, and we were running around the world together, doing these deliveries together, going through whatever form of combat they have, together, assisting each other, how would you feel?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I feel like when I watch this, we talk about it being a delivery sim, right? A couple people kind of caught that and commented that they thought that was funny.
Well, what if it's a USPS attempting to get people to want to be mail carriers?
I find it very... I don't know really how to voice my thought on it. I find the whole concept of a fetch quest to be just outdated. And it's time to move on from it. And when I see that as being the basis for a lot of the general gameplay, just generally what you should expect to be doing in the game, I really struggled with that.
Yeah.
And I challenge anybody out there that's excited about Death Stranding. I'm not saying do not buy, trash, uninstall. But I am saying ask yourself this question. Look in the mirror tonight and say, self, if this game wasn't made by Hideo Kojima, first of all, would I even know it exists? Take Kojima's name off. Take his team's name off. Take everything you know about him being involved in it off. If this was made by any other studio, would you be as interested in it as you are? Be careful that you're not being overhyped on something. I have not seen anything in any trailer, and I've watched some that you haven't watched.
I mean, we have some great facial...
Yeah, that's
I
cool.
mean, graphically, the facial stuff and the voice acting's awesome.
Voice acting's
and
fantastic.
there are some cool sounds and good music. I'll give it that.
Yeah.
But that's not enough to command a $60 price point and make me play a game all the way through
and
anymore.
make me lose my fucking mind over it and
There's just not anymore.
They can do no wrong. No. Mr. YouTube, Jdog, I want your final...
This game's coming out soon, right? In a couple months?
Yeah, I don't think we're that far off from release anymore. I don't think it's fair to say, this is still, 15 months from release, or this is a year from release,
Let's make sure I want to just make sure.
November 8th of
November
19.
8th. So we're like a month and a week.
Yeah.
5 weeks away. So, we should be seeing something by now that's got us excited.
Yeah, and you can say you have faith in the developer, or have faith in this, have faith in that. Listen, money talks, guys. And if you want me to put up $60, you got to show me something that makes me say, "Yep, here's my $60." Because we don't day one very many games anymore.
No, not $60.
I mean, we day one some of them, but not like we used to.
Yeah, and I just don't know if there's enough here.
And maybe it will be revealed, after launch and this, that, and the other thing that, oh my God, there's this amazing sub-game going on in Death Stranding that's different than anything we've ever seen before. And maybe it'll make me say, you know what, I'm going to give this game a shot. But I can't really say that right now because I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
All I've seen is boring.
Yeah.
Really fucking boring. And you can get mad about that all you want. When you're not giving the game a chance, why should I give the game a chance? It hasn't given me a reason to.
True.
Okay, I'll ask you this. You watch a trailer for a movie. Dr. Flame and I were discussing this. You watch a trailer for a movie, and that trailer looks like absolute dog shit, boring, doesn't excite you, doesn't make you want to see the movie. Are you going to go pay $15 to see that movie?
No.
And any one of you that answered yes is full of shit. The answer to the question is 100% no. You might be forced to go see it by your friends, but you're not going to want to.
If they buy me the ticket, I'll go.
Yeah, if they pay for my ticket,
somebody buys
I'll
me a
go.
copy of Death Stranding, I'll play it.
Yeah, somebody pays for my copy of Death Stranding, I'll play the whole thing.
But I ain't gonna put my own money up for it unless,
Unless they drop a trailer that makes me say, "Whoa, we missed this."
Yeah.
I'm a not day one. I'm a $20 to $30 sale or a rent. Mr. YouTube, your final thoughts.
Just putting it out there, guys. Putting out some honest thoughts. I know a lot of you guys are excited for this.
Why?
I want to be.
I do too.
I just don't see it from what they've showed. And that for me is disheartening.
It is.
You want to be excited for these games?
Because I do want to be excited for Death Stranding. I do want to see something new in the gaming industry, something different. But it's the Kingdom Come Deliverance syndrome, right? Mm-hmm. This is going to be a different kind of RPG. This is going to be a realistic RPG. This is going to change RPGs. They forgot about the part of making it fun.
Yeah.
Different's great. I got to echo a comment from the reaction we did. Different is fantastic. if it's fun and engaging, it makes you want to come back.
Exactly.
Not makes you want to take a fucking nap and go work for UPS.
Exactly.
Or USPS.
I think developers are forgetting about that. They're forgetting about fun. Or AAA games are definitely missing out on that. You know, that's something that seems to be less and less as we look for. You know, I don't know what these guys are going for sometimes, but the actual fun factor, like we talk about, moment to moment gameplay.
It's got to be good.
That's what keeps us going, guys. So, you know, fun factor is really important. In fact, it's the most important thing. Okay, I'll suffer through some trash graphics, some, 50-50 sounds, any of that type of stuff, if the gameplay is fun
and engaging. It makes me want to see more.
Yes.
You know what? Sometimes it doesn't even have to be fun. Not to discredit what you just said. It doesn't even have to be fun sometimes. Sometimes it can be frustrating or piss you off or just enrage you or whatever. But it has to make me want to come back.
Yeah.
If I don't have the feeling of, you know what, I gotta see what's next, I stop playing. Because my time is valuable.
Yep, and mine is too. And a lot of games are out. We got new games out every week. So if something's going to get me to put 100 hours into it, it better be freaking spectacular.
Yep. Or it better have something that makes me come back.
Yep.
And some people say, well, if you don't like repetitive, or if you don't like this, or if you don't like that, how come you play so much Monster Hunter? How come you have over 300 hours in Monster Hunter World? That game makes me want to come back. Weapons, play styles,
yep.
Enemies, different fight styles, playing with different people. That all takes into account. That all goes into account. Why I'm still playing that game.
You look at one of the most simple concepts on the planet.
Find,
right?
Hunt, kill.
Yeah. And you can get 300 hours out of that.
And counting.
So, you look at a concept like that, and it's done right, and it's
addicting.
Again, not trying to be everything.
Oh.
But again, we are worried about fun factor on this game. We are worried about it. I'd say it's one of my biggest issues, right? I can even look past some of the graphics, look past what I think is kind of a barren world, or at least what they've shown seems kind of barren.
Yep.
I can look past some of the tedium.
Me too.
But I don't necessarily know if I see a fun factor.
I don't know if I can look past all of the tedium, or, you say some of the tedium, fine. But I don't know if I can totally look past it when it's all I've seen.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. Yeah. So I'm really up in the air on this. I mean, you guys got to come on in the comments, and you've got to let us know here.
Hey, I know you want to wrap this one up quick, but I do want to make one more point. They were talking about how they were showing some combat during some of the alternate world or the World War II, where there's like a whole sub-storyline or something. Well, something like that. With these people, and they were fighting, and that looked like shit, too. In that one trailer we saw, remember they were like down in the trenches or whatever it looked like almost. I don't think I can describe it to you properly, but we did react to the trailer, and I remember seeing, I'm thinking, that gunplay kind of looks like shit. So I just don't know if it's there.
Yeah.
Don't know if it's there, but like Mr. YouTube said, we want your thoughts down in the comments. You guys, let us know what you think about Death Stranding, and again, let's have a constructive, intelligent.
For those of you that know more about this than we apparently do, I mean, if you guys can put in, like, when you think about it and what's got you excited for it, like, put in what's got you excited for it, so we can kind of get some ideas from you guys on what we're missing here, what we're not seeing.
We want your thoughts down in the comments. Let us know what you think. Like the video if you enjoyed the honest discussion and our thoughts here on Death Stranding. We'll see you right here next time for more real YouTube content like this.
You're welcome.
GG. You plebs.